In the capital now, they need to institutionalize creativity and innovation in the work of the Volta River Authority, VRA. For it to be abreast of current trends has been highlighted at a roundtable panel discussion in Accra on creativity and innovation as part of activities towards the 62nd anniversary of VRA. The chief executive of the authority, Emmanuel Entry Dakwa, said VRA has been traditional in the way it operates. Adjusting to new trends is critical in a rapidly competitive energy market.
It's the Volta River Authority, VRA, was the sole producer of electricity for the country. Today, it has about 14 competitors who are also generating power. The competition continues to pose existential threat to the authority. For it to remain the market leader, the CEO of VRA, Mr. Emmanuel Entry Dakwa, at the roundtable panel discussion said the power producer cannot continue business as usual.
The world has changed. The way we run it is completely different from what happened when we were set up 62 years ago. Remember, when we were set up 62 years ago, the paradigm at that time was to have utilities operate with ethos like safety, security, operational excellence, reliability, etc. And we've been a very, very good traditional utility. But the world has changed. Customers have become more savvy. They request for power delivery differently and in different forms.
CEO of Phyto Rica Pharmaceuticals, Madam Teresa Randolph, spoke about processes and tools in innovation and getting complacence after innovation.
When we're talking innovation, there tends to be what we would call, say, 3 success factors. There's the process and the tools end of it. You tend to have what we call the cross-functional alignment side of things, and then there would be the leadership. He said to us that as leadership, we have to lead by example. And in effect, when you think of those 3 coming together, the culture and the mindset.
MD of Absa Bank Ghana, Madam Abena Osepoku, said it takes deliberate effort by leadership on an innovative journey to get workers buy-in to build a culture of creativity and innovation. A second panel discussion deliberated on enabling innovation through a transformed human resource management system. So, the authority says creativity and innovation are the anchors for sustainability. Impliedly, they cannot continue in business as usual mindset, as innovation is change that will unlock new value for the authority.
Let's do some. The Minister of Energy, Dr. Matthew, let's still stay on energy. The Minister of Energy, Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh, has disclosed that some $2.5 million worth of crude condensate has gone missing at the Tema Oil Refinery. The minister explained that the ministry secured a deal for the refinery in the premixed fuel sector, but $2.5 million has been left unaccounted for. His comment follows an appeal by workers to the government to revive the refinery. Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh said the government is doing all it can to revive the company.
I gave TOR a new business opportunity in the premixed fuel market, that all the condensate from Ghana Gas should go to TOR and use it for blending and premix fuel, right? The last time I heard, over $2.5 million worth of condensate that got missing from TOR. If we all want TOR working, we don't want another ECG in TOR, do we? Because it will break the back of government, the bills in TOR. They have over $500 million of debt sitting on there. And go and look at how the debt's accumulated. People bring their crude to refine, and then crude losses. I set up a committee that worked for 8 months just trying to reconcile TOR losses. My sister, you don't pay taxes for it to be a drain. You pay taxes for an efficient function of government. Government, I can tell you, is doing so much work to bring TOR together.
Let's now do some health. The Ghana Association of Medical Laboratory Scientists is urging government to implement the national laboratory policy to improve laboratory practice in the country. At the Golden Jubilee launch of the association in Accra, President of the Ghana Association of Medical Laboratory Scientists, Dr. Abu Rahmani, said it is important for government to ensure the right investments, such as strengthening health systems, for the country to stand tall in safeguarding public health.
Lastly, any decision in medicine is made without laboratory tests, an indication that the medical laboratory and the medical laboratory scientists play an integral role in shaping the healthcare system of the country. Unfortunately, in Ghana, there are no acceptable standards by which every clinical laboratory should operate, and this led to the development of a policy document to solve this problem. The National Health Laboratory Policy was drafted between 2010 and 2013 to, among others, provide a guide in the expansion of laboratory services to support healthcare programs and also promote quality healthcare delivery in the country. The document, which was developed with Ghanaian and international experts, is on the shelves of the Ministry of Health, gathering dust. Speaking at the 50th anniversary launch of the Ghana Association of Laboratory Scientists, a Deputy Minister for Health, Mr. Mahama Seiseni, said government is committed to fully implementing the National Laboratory Policy to improve laboratory practice in Ghana. He called on development partners to lend their support to the health sector. Clinical pathologist and immediate past president of West Africa Postgraduate College of Medical Laboratory Science, Professor Nafiu Amedu, appealed to the government to set up a separate medical lab science regulatory authority to fast-track process in the sector.
To be able to give the evidence, we need the personnel to be trained at the highest level possible, with highest quality. And there are some of the things that could affect the quality of the delivery that the laboratory science offer. One is the issue of regulatory body. And we thought that given the kind of service we deliver and the population of laboratory science, the time is right for a separate regulatory body to be identified for medical laboratory science. And that's why we are calling on the ministry to help us with a separate regulatory body known as Medical Laboratory Science Authority.
The president of the Ghana Association of Medical Laboratory Scientists, Dr. Abu Rahmani, urged government to immediately scale up health delivery systems to improve operations of laboratory professionals in Ghana.
We always say that there are no clear structures when it comes to the medical laboratory system. When you take our brothers and sisters on the other side.
Theme: 50 years of medical laboratory service, impact on health delivery systems in Ghana, prospects and challenges.
Let's do some entertainment now. Different rhythms of gospel music have surfaced on the Ghanaian music scene, but as the saying goes, old wine tastes best. The olden days gospel music, which paved the way for the current generation, is still active and tastes great. Now we take you through the nostalgically remembered past of some tunes from the only professor in the Ghanaian gospel industry, Professor Kofi Abraham.
For authentic and good traditional gospel music, Professor Kofi Abraham will make it on that enviable list. He was determined to produce guitar band music in the Ghanaian music industry. Professor Abraham has worked tirelessly to produce over 20 albums. Many listeners to the Prof's music say you will feel all the vocal ranges in all his songs. Here is Inshiran Kenyame. Animeshafo was one of a favorite of many. His live band performances throughout his 30 years on the gospel music scene have won the admiration of many music lovers. For the listeners, if the Ghana gospel music industry is booming today, who has contributed to the industry's success is Prof. On our Who We Are series this month of March, we salute this gospel music legend, Professor Kofi Abraham, and roll out the red carpet for him.
Let's go to the international front now. The World Health Organization, WHO, has officially launched its mRNA vaccine technology hub in Cape Town, a facility established during the COVID-19 pandemic to help poorer countries struggling to access life-saving medication. Global pharmaceutical firms, including Moderna and Pfizer, had declined to provide the technical know-how to replicate their vaccines in Africa.
In 2021, the WHO picked South African biotech firm Afrigen Biologics for a pilot project to give poor and middle-income countries the know-how and licenses to make COVID-19 vaccines. At the same time, South African President Cyril Ramaphosa called it a historic step. The vaccine candidate, which must still be tested on people, is the first to be made based on a widely used vaccine without the assistance and approval of the developer. It is also the first mRNA vaccine designed, developed and produced at lab scale on the African continent. The 5-day visit by the Director General of the WHO and senior health officials would include discussions over the program's sustainability, the science of mRNA technologies, and its potential use to combat other diseases such as HIV and tuberculosis that disproportionately affect poorer countries. The WHO said 70% of the global population had received at least one dose of COVID-19 vaccine as of March, but that figure was still below 30% in low-income countries.
Now, as a safe of fighting in Sudan, a ceasefire between the army and the powerful paramilitary group Rapid Support Forces, RSF, failed. This is the second ceasefire they have broken. Thousands of residents have fled the capital, Khartoum. So have some 320 soldiers who were detained in neighboring Chad. According to the World Health Organization, the violent clashes have already left more than 270 civilians dead and more than 2,000 injured. Germany and Japan are reportedly planning the evacuation of their citizens. The UN will meet on Thursday with the African Union, the Arab League and representatives of other organizations to discuss the situation in Sudan. 78 people have been killed in a crash at a school in Yemeni capital Sana'a during a distribution of charity for Ramadan. Hundreds of people had crowded into the school to receive donations, which amounted to about $9 per person. The Interior Ministry said those responsible for the distribution of the funds have been detained and an investigation is underway.
According to witnesses, the crash began after armed Houthis fired into the air in an attempt at crowd control. The shot struck an electrical wire and caused it to explode, sparking panic. A local news outlet also quoted a source who was near the scene at the time as saying that he heard sporadic gunfire from several automatic rifles, followed by a flash of light caused by a short circuit, causing people to panic and sparking a stampede. Houthi rebels have run the city since they drove out the government in 2015. The event happened during the final days of the Muslim holy month of Ramadan, which is marked by a period of fasting. The source also noted that rebels had previously tried to prevent the local merchant from distributing zakat arms and demanded that he hand it over to the Houthi General Zakat Authority, which the merchant had refused to do. Head of the Houthi Supreme Evolutionary Committee, Mohammed Ali al-Houthi, blamed the crash on the country's humanitarian crisis.
And that's it for GTV Breakfast News. There's more news when you do log on to our website. That's gbcghanaonline.com. All the headline stories, trending news is there, and you can find it there. I'll be back in a bit with an interview and a recital, a Quran recital, as today marks Eid around the world. A lot of Ghanaians will pray today and tomorrow as well. We have a packed show for you to ensure that you stay with us for the Eid edition of the morning show. Now, Jeduble Ambule will be on the show. Also, Kwame Eugene will be on the show. So, it's a show you don't want to miss. I am out Decider Sadiq. My abaya is by Kubra Diamonds Boutique. You can find her at Abeka. Look her up on social media at Kubra Diamonds Boutique. You see our studios well when my co-hosts join me for the rest of the show. The studio has been lit and designed by Iman Shop Ghana and our set design department of Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. So stay with us.